Hey everyone, Livy here, back with another video. This time I have a really cool VR to do, or at least I thought it was really cool. No, it is. Totero has a really cool VR tag she made called, okay, if it's wrong, I'm just gonna fix it later, but I believe the tag is called Tuned In Tarot. It's a musical tarot tag where, well, okay, she specifically said there are no rules technically, but what she did was she paired one deck at a time with a song that reminded her of that deck. But because she said there's no rules, some of these decks I'm going to show will have, well, actually, let me double check here. Yes. Some of these will have more than one song, but some of them will just have one song. But anyways, she's pairing music with tarot, which is something, I debated doing a tag similar to this, so I'm kind of glad she created it, because then I didn't have to. But anyways, today we're going to start with the Dream Vision Tarot. And the song that I immediately think of with this deck, now here's the tricky thing about this tag is we got to be careful here or the YouTube overlords will be like, no, copyright. So I have to be careful. So I'm not really going to sing any of this, obviously, and I can't show clips of these songs, but the Dream Vision Tarot, every time I look at this deck, I think of Janelle Monae, but specifically Janelle Monae's Arcandroid album. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, because that album is amazing. She's just such a great singer. But this deck reminds me specifically of the song she has on the album called Oh Maker, I believe. And that song, to kind of like put it into perspective, why I think of that song specifically with this deck, is that the song is about, okay, well, Janelle Monae's whole album is a concept album, right? She kind of made up a little world within a world. Part of it is like androids, and in Oh Maker, the android in question is questioning her existence. And part of it has to do with, I'm trying to remember, but she mentions a bunch of colors in the song and like trying to find her place in the universe. And there's like blues and yellows are mentioned, pinks and some other colors. But because this deck, as you can see, is very colorful and just the tonality, I don't know how to explain it. Like the tonality of that song with these lyrics, I mean, the tonality of the song with this deck, let me clarify that. Tonality of the song with the deck. There's something about it that just makes me think of that. The whole album in general, but especially the song Oh Maker. And if anyone else knows what I'm talking about, you know, because it's just so good. Like, the colors and just, I don't know, because these figures, I think, too, are very, as you can see, they're very, like, otherworldly. They give off, like, an inhuman, while still being human vibe, kind of like the androids do. So, in that vein, I just think of Oh Maker, especially, like, colors like this, with that song. So, first song and first deck, Dream Vision Tarot with the song Oh Maker from Janelle Monae. And next up, I have, what did I want to do? I have notes next to me, by the way, so I can check. Okay. This is one of the decks that actually I think of 3 songs in particular with this deck. This is the Northern Animal Tarot. This is the new 3rd edition. I pull out my deck from the bottom because I like to keep the little sticker secure. And I think of 3 songs. This is cheating, maybe. I don't know. She said no rules. So, you know, going rogue here. Okay. I think of 3 songs in particular with the Northern Animal Tarot. And I'm just gonna, I guess I'll keep, I might lose them. I've been keeping the Oracle cards for this deck separate from the rest of the deck because I just like to pull them to the side, but that's okay. We can start with them. I think of 3 songs with this deck because the deck is just so glorious. The first song I think of every time, it would literally get stuck in my head actually as I was like just waiting to get this deck in the mail. The first song is Willow by Taylor Swift, and I got to be very careful mentioning that, don't I? Because she'll come for me. No, just kidding. But I feel like that's what happens. Willow by Taylor Swift. If you've heard that song, I think you immediately get the vibes from this deck because it's very folksy. There's a line that's like, whatever you say, the less I know. Wherever you stray, I'll follow. And it's kind of like that with this deck. It's got like very woodsy, naturey vibes, mentioning like life is a willow. So immediately I think of this, especially sound, because of the more folk sound that song has. It really just goes with this deck, in my opinion. Another song, though, besides Willow, that I think goes with the Northern Animal Tarot is actually a song by, I'm pretty sure the band is called Bell Brigade. If I'm wrong, I'll change that later. The Bell Brigade, though, or Bell Brigade, has a song called When Everything Was What It Was, I believe, is the name of that one. If it's not, again, I'm going to correct it at the bottom anyways. I'll have all the songs listed in the description. Something about that song is also very folk blues-like. And I don't know why this deck gives me folk blues vibes, but it does. So that song is just very, I don't know how to describe it. That song makes you like miss things that have long gone away, basically. Which is like kind of weird to pair with this deck in some ways, but it's more of like the vibes. Again, it's more the vibes. I don't know how to explain it. But there's things in here where it's like, where you get like vaguely nostalgic for things that are no longer come to pass. And it might be because this is a very storybook vibe. When everything was what it was. Wish everything was what I was, right? Like that's what the song talks about. Especially with this card, right? So that's another one to me. That reminds me of this deck for some reason. Again, more vibes. And the last song, the third song, that reminds me of the Northern Animal Tarot has to be, I think people have heard of this one for sure, especially if you do. If I'm on the same trajectory of bluesy, folksy music, the last song that this deck reminds me of is Runaround by the Blues Travelers. Oh my goodness, that's another one, isn't it? Like, if you've heard that song, I swear to God, people have to have. That song was like really popular in the late 90s, I'm pretty sure, early 2000s. Blues Travelers, Runaround. There's something about that too. It tugs at the same notes as like giving me the runaround. And I don't know. It just reminds me of camping. That's a weird vibe to say. But it always did. Like, it reminded me of, like, going on the journey to go camping. Which is what this deck kind of reminds me of, too. Because, you know, it's just the outdoors. So, yeah, I have 3 songs for this deck. I'm almost tempted to make, if you guys would be interested in that, I'm tempted to make, like, a Spotify playlist of this. I like the music on here. Because it might be a vibe. I don't know. But yeah, the Northern Animal Tarot reminds me of folky, bluesy music. So there you go. I 3 songs it reminded me of straight off the bat. But yes, this deck is so good. And yeah, it deserves having 3 songs, okay? It deserves it. I had to. Um, but yeah, I'm going to move on. I don't have that many decks, I don't think. I already went through 2, and I only had 7 I wanted to talk about. So yeah, we have 5 more to go. Next, deck and song. This one's going to be interesting, maybe, for some. I haven't shown it around a little bit. But this is the 7th edition of the Jonasa Jaus Tarot, which is based on Marseille tradition. And this deck, it's got a lot of interesting vibes to it. Oh, it's edged in this like great green to match the backs. This deck, though, has a very specific song it reminded me of immediately, and it has to do with the fact that this deck has a lot of flower imagery. Even though these aren't the song in question technically doesn't have these flowers in it, but because the song is talking a lot about that, it gives me those vibes. So the song in question is called Roses, Lotus, Violet, Iris by Hayley Williams. She's the singer. She also does, well, in this album, or the song in question, is from her solo album. But, what's it called? She's from the band Paramore. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. My brain frying out on me. Because I'm filming at night again. Roses, Lotus, Violet, Iris, right? Kind of self-explanatory. The song is very flowery. It's got this like vibe where it's almost slower paced in the way that she singing the song. And it's got a lot of, the flower imagery. But it's also, how do I explain this? There's a lot of like women talked about in the song. It's a song about not comparing yourself to other people and being happy with who you are. Especially, what's the song? Line of the song. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube, but there's like, there's a line about wilted women. And then there's a line about, being the envy of your iris, I think. Oh man, it's been so late. I should have like pulled up some more of these lyrics, but anyways, the vibe of that song though is just so, it's on point for this. I don't know how to explain it. It's just very flowery and it fits because this deck has a lot of like women of different types in it. Of not comparing yourself to others, about being being contemplative about who you are, and going through the motions of life. So for that reason, I had to pair Roses, Lotus, or Lotus's Violets, or Violet Iris to this song. I mean, to this deck. Because it just hits, okay? It goes. So, Jonasa Jaus with that song. Ooh, and I forgot to put one in here. It slid away. Okay, anyways. Nope, it's not going. Okay, cool. I struggled on camera again, probably. Next one. Ooh, I almost wasn't, I swear to God, okay? I know I talk about this deck too much. Oh, it's not here. Oh, no, yes, it is. Sorry. Oh, cool. I just had to just crash land right now. That's great. Okay, sorry. I wish I knew how to edit, because then I could just cut that shit out. My bad. I swear to God, though, guys, I was not going to talk about the Raven's Prophecy Tarot And then as I was looking for songs for a different deck, a song reminded me of this deck. So, Sorry Not Sorry, maybe? This is the Raven's Prophecy Tarot. And there is a very specific song that this deck reminds me of, which is Youth by the singer, or maybe it's just a band. I don't remember. Daughter. Youth by Daughter has such vibes that reminds me of this deck because it's very indie. It's very sad sounding. This deck kind of gives off those vibes. And there's a very specific line in the song. It's talking about, like, you know, your dying youth and stuff. About being the lucky ones if you've escaped XYZ thing. But there's a very specific line, which I want to see if one of the cards will pop up that reminds me of this. It's called, oh, no, not called, but there's a line where the Song of Youth goes, setting fire to our insides for fun. And I'm trying to remember what the rest was with that. But, oh, here we go. Like, setting fire to our insides for fun. You know, just like being lucky that you've made it. But at the same time, there's a lot of, like, bitter youth energy going on. Case in point. It's a good song. It's got them vibes. It's an indie. It's more indie rock sounding, which for some reason this deck gives me those vibes. Although the colors, you'd almost think it'd be like a rock vibe. But I get more indie from this. But anyways, yes, Raven's Prophecy Tarot. With the song Youth by Daughter. And I'm going to put this away and hope I don't drop my camera. Like, my phone and camera. It's both. Again. Okay. At this point, I only have 3 decks left. I had to double check that. Okay. This next deck is the Seed and Sickle Oracle. So this is the only Oracle in this. I know it's tuned in Tarot, but for some reason, every time I use this deck, I get vibes from, so I think a lot of people know this band, but Panic at the Disco, okay, had an album called Pretty Odd. And what's hilarious about that album is that a lot of people, for some reason, didn't like that album as much. But I really loved it. And it's more like folky again. There we go. It's like folky rock of an album. But they have a song called When the Day Met the Night. And that song, for some reason, strikes such a deep, like, parallel for me between this deck. Because you get, like, sunnier vibes, golden vibes, because the song talks about the golden sky a lot. Like, when the day met the night, all was golden in the sky, right? That's what the song talks about a lot. And it's supposed to be a love story between the day and the night. It's like a song about it. It's almost very, what am I saying? It's like, there's a term for it, a literary term for it, but it's, a personification, right? Yeah, a personification of the day the sun and the moon as if they were people. And there's a line especially, the reason why this connects also, besides the golden colors and stuff, and seeing the sun and the moon everywhere in this deck, is that there's a line about them meeting in a garden filled with, like, flowers and stuff. It talks about that. They're having tea in the garden. And that, I don't know, there's something about, like, especially this card, excuse me. It gives off those vibes. I don't know. When the day met the night. I just love that song in general. That's one of my faves. But it gives off this, I don't know. It's so strong to me, just the parallels. So I wanted to feature that one, When the Day Met the Night, with the Seed and Sickle Oracle. Wanted to mention that. Next deck. Ooh, this one. Yes, okay, this one. And then my other one. Guided Hand Tarot. I've been talking about this one for a bit now, too. There's technically 2 songs that this kind of reminds me of. The first one, the first song that this deck reminds me of, I don't know what the heck is wrong. I just realized. It's another, like, country-ish sounding song, folky song. I don't know why I'm getting a folk vibe today. The Guided Hand Tarot. There's a song called Water Witch. And Water Witch, I believe, is sung by the Secret Sisters featuring Brandi Carlile. And I just love Brandi Carlile in general. But there's a song, Water Witch is like being, I don't know, Water Witch embodies kind of the Queen of Cups and kind of High Priestess vibes at the same time, right? Because those cards are connected. And the line in particular, I'm trying to see if I can find the card actually. There's a particular line in the song that reminds me of the actual Queen of Cups in this deck. So I need to see if I can find the Queen of Cups. But it's a very deep, sonorous song about being mystical, about being other. And this deck, you know, has a lot of that embodied, like being mystical, being other, being kind of haunting and different. And the line, I don't know, I swear to God, I'm going to look for this. Because it's going to bug me. If I don't have the card, there's no point talking about this. No, just kidding. But kind of. Watch the Queen of Cups end up being like the last card. So much hate. This always happens. When you're looking for something, it never comes when you want it to. So you're just searching until the end of time. And here it is. Ha. Okay, never mind. Found it. Okay, Water Witch. There's a line that goes, I'm a witch of the water. I come like a thief in the night. Embodying, I think it's like embodying or something mystical forces to run away to the light, right? Or something along those lines. I can't remember. I probably butchered something in there. But I remember I'm a witch of the water and I come like a thief in the night. Something about her is definitely, right? The Water Witch vibes. Like, she's got that dreamy, deep, otherworldly sense to her. And yeah, this deck is that song. But the other song this kind of reminds me of, who's the band? I think it's, oh yes, it's Broods. Okay. Broods has a song called Evergreen. And Evergreen is about being, how do I say this? It's also very deep and sonorous sounding. It's very slow, like the way the track goes. But it's talking about like living forever in the moment. And I think having no fear, I think is a line that gets repeated a lot. And this deck, something about this deck is about like having no fear and releasing a lot of that, like, I don't know, things that would have held you back. So for me, this deck, right, definitely gives off, especially this Knight of Wands, right, is just like being evergreen, being one with nature, becoming, right? So those are the 2 songs in particular that remind me of the Guided Hand Tarot. And finally, we're going to get to this last deck because I feel like I've been very rambly today. This is what happens when I film at night. I'm either on point or I'm about to lose my mind. So I think I can blame it on a long work week, okay? It's only at the time of filming this. I'm filming this on a Wednesday, but it's been a long week, let me tell you. But anyways, that's rambling. Sorry, guys. let's get into the last deck and song pairing. This deck... Oh, this is another Oracle. I lied to you. I had two. My bad, guys. This is the Imperfect Mini Roots and Wings Oracle. And the song that reminds me of this deck is a Hozier song. People probably know Hozier from the song Take Me to Church. Now, this deck does not remind me of Take Me to Church, okay? Not the same vibes at all. The song in question is called In a Week. And a lot of that song, In a Week, is about the roots and the leaves and the trees and decomposing and becoming one with the earth. It's a very... I don't know. It's kind of trance-like. And then again, it also is another like kind of folky, bluesy sound. I don't know why all these... I definitely got to make a playlist out of this shit. I'm like getting a lot of the same vibes. I think the only outlier here was Janelle Monae. But even her, you could argue R&B, you know, that kind of goes with the whole vibe. But anyways, In a Week is about being one with the universe, or basically saying things along the lines of like, in a week you might be dead and you'll decompose with the foxes, or and be trodden on by foxes. I don't know. It says something about foxes in that song, and turning into flowers and stuff like that. You know, it's a very decomposition song. But because this is very naturey, oh, and here we go, death. Right? This song gives me, see, foxes, gives me those vibes of Hozier. A lot of his songs probably could have gone for this, but In a Week is the most specific to the theme of the Roots and Wings Oracle. And see, especially because this deck has a good balance of like happy-go-lucky, like the Strength card. But then you get things like Blind. You know, this is a very balanced Oracle. And I'll be home with you. I think that's what that song says at the end. I'll be home with you. Being vulnerable. Or even community, right? And yeah, so that's what pairs together. And anyways, I think I need to go. I've been very rambly today, and I'm tired, but at the same time I wanted to do this tag. I've been so excited. I tried to make sure I paired everything together. I will list the songs below so you guys can try to listen to them if you'd like. And maybe I'll do Spotify, but I'm not going to connect that. Or maybe I will. I don't know. You guys tell me. If I need to, I'll connect it to my community tab if I'm able to. I don't know how that works with YouTube. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to go now. But until next time, guys, bye.